The people in your circle can either pull you away from your purpose or push you closer to it. And that's what David's story shows us tonight. The big idea for tonight and for the title of Who's in Your Circle is who you surround yourself with shapes who you become. Thank you very much. Yes, the answer is become. Have you ever noticed how you start talking, acting, or even dressing like the people you hang out with? That's because influence is contagious, for better or worse. Right? Influence doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Influence is influence. It can be contagious, whether good or bad. It's influence. David's story shows us what godly influence looks like and what happens when jealousy and pride try to destroy it. So let's look at 1 Samuel 18. We're going to read the first 12 verses. Just follow along. 1 Samuel 18. What page? 204. Flip to 204. Thank you, Myra. And follow along 204. Everyone should be on page 204. After David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan, which was Saul's son, became one in spirit with David. And he loved him as himself. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. He was a good friend. This is not weird love. This is brotherly love, okay? Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David. Remember, this is King Saul's son, okay? He's royalty. He took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. He gave him all these valuable things that showed that he was part of the royal family. He was the king's son. He gave them all to David. Okay, this is chapter 18. If you were here last Sunday, we were in chapter 17, where this boy named David defeated a giant named Goliath. So 17-year-old David, okay, is where we're at, right after David and Goliath, okay? Verse 5, whatever mission Saul sent him on, David was so successful that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul, the one who was hiding in the tent, the one who would not face Goliath. But they came out to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs, and with timbrels and lyres. As they danced, they sang, Saul has slain his thousands, watch this, and David his tens of thousands. Saul was very angry, verse 8. This refrain, this song they were singing, displeased him greatly. Why? Because they were saying David had killed tens of thousands and Saul only 1,000. And remember, David's 17. King Saul is a lot older, and he's the king. And so this little boy is killed more people than me. People are shouting and singing. Wouldn't that be a little offensive if you were older and this little 17-year-old first time stepping on the battlefield, and now he's getting credit for killing all these people when Saul had sent him out? Saul was very angry. This refrain displeased him greatly. They have credited David with tens of thousands, he thought, but me with only thousands. What more can he get but the kingdom? And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David. Verse 10, the next day, an evil spirit from God, or a harmful spirit from God, came forcefully on Saul. He was prophesying in his house. Listen to this. While David was playing the lyre, who knows what that is? L-Y-R-E. Nash. Musical instrument, old-fashioned guitar or harp. Yes, it's strings across a piece of wood. It's an old-fashioned harp. So David is a guitar player, maybe the first we know of, guitar player. And he would play this instrument to bring peace. It was a way to worship. So pretty cool. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Verse 11. Back it up. He was prophesying in his house while David was playing that musical instrument as he usually did. Saul had a spear in his hand, and he hurled it, saying to himself, I'll pin David to the wall. That's not very nice, is it? Can you imagine being so mad at somebody? Some of you can imagine this. If you had something in your hand, you want to just chuck it at them and try to pin them to the wall with this spear. But David eluded him twice. He didn't hit David. David was quick. He got out of the way. Verse 12, Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David, but had departed from Saul. So that was a lot in there, and we're going to kind of break some of it down. There's this beautiful relationship forming right in the beginning between David and Jonathan. These are great friends. They've made this pact together, this covenant. They're becoming great friends. There's great relationship forming, yet there's another relationship going sideways. David and King Saul have hooked up, got together. David is there with King Saul to protect him, to fight battles for him, to play music for him, all these things that he was asked to do when he was younger. And now that relationship is going sideways, and one of them is trying to throw a spear at this one. Point is, you got to be careful who you follow or look up to. Saul was the king, so I can only imagine that David probably looked up to the king, as a lot of people did. We might look up to the senior pastor or the president maybe, or some person high, an official, or somebody, in a club you're in, or in a sporting event, or your coach, or your leader, or pastor, or your parents, or some influencer, or somebody on social media. We might look up to them because they have the title, because they're at the top, because they're the CEO, because they make the millions, because they drive 10 different cars, and they dress with Gucci and all these things. Like, we might look up to those people because of who they are, but we got to be careful who we look up to. Sometimes we want someone else's position, their title, their following, and so we look up to them, we follow them, maybe even act like them. Last Sunday morning, if you were here, I preached a message called Get in the what? Thank you, good job. Get in the game. David was fighting a giant named Goliath, as we said earlier. He killed Goliath with a slingshot, okay, imagine. He killed him with a slingshot. Then he goes over to Goliath, grabs Goliath's sword, and cuts Goliath's head off with Goliath's sword. And now the crowd is cheering his name. That's Orah. That's Orah, right? That's what y'all would say that was Orah. But verse 7, it says, the crowd singing, Saul has slain his thousands and David his thousands, which made Saul very what? Angry. It displeased him. And it says, they have credited David with tens of thousands, he thought. And then verse 12 starts to get a little interesting. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David, but he had departed from Saul. So that would be what? El-Orah, right? Saul is now, because of what he's going through, the Lord's departed from him. That's not the same kind of Orah to David. Y'all could say that's El-Orah. David is now the most famous man in Israel, but he's still humble. Through all of this, crowds cheering for you, you're now looking better than the king, you're still young, but yet you've got all these people cheering and singing and all this stuff for you, and he still stayed humble. Right after this huge victory, something amazing happens. He meets Jonathan, Saul's son. Jonathan and David instantly connect. They become one or knit together in spirit. Maybe they're like-minded. They have the same spirit. They just feel like, sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, this is my people. Like, we get it. We get each other. Like, you just know how to talk, and you're seeking God, and you're trying to do the right thing, and you're making good choices, and you come to Bible study, and you read, and you pray. And so they're just kindred spirits. They're just connecting, spiritually speaking, brotherly love. Jonathan recognizes God's hand on David and chooses loyalty over jealousy. He could have been jealous of David. Like, how come my dad, the king, is not like praising me? And how come I'm not defeating giants? And how come I can't kill a bear or a lion with a slingshot? How come I can't cut off the giant's head? How come I can't do those things David did? To the point where he takes off his robe and all his stuff to show that he's royalty, all these things that he just gets to wear because he's just part of the family. He takes all that up and gives it to David because he just sees something in David. Remember, David was anointed as a youngster to be the next king, and he had to go through process. in the sheep and tending the sheep to defeat Goliath. And now you see him elevating into position. And Jonathan recognizes this is a man of God. And Jonathan decides to choose loyalty over jealousy. That's so rare today because we see other people with favor and we get jealous, envious, comparing ourselves to them. How come they get that and I don't? It's hard to be loyal and not be jealous. I need you to stop talking or I'm going to have to separate you, okay? Easy to be jealous, not so easy to be loyal. Jonathan even gives David his royal robe, as we said, and weapons, a symbol that he's surrendering his claim to the throne. And they make this covenant. What's covenant? Covenant is a sacred promise. It's not just like, hey, yeah, like, let's dap it up and like, yeah, I'll watch your back, you watch my... No, this was like a serious commitment, a promise, a sacred promise. Deeper than a friendship. It's a commitment to have each other's back no matter what. It's like back in the day, you would make like pacts with people. And we used to do some crazy stuff. You might have like a friendship bracelet. Or back in the day, this is going to sound terrible, you might, well, never mind, I don't even want to say it. You might do something and you kind of join hands and anyway, you had this covenant between the two of you. It was this sacred promise that you were going to like be with each other and have each other's back. This is a deeper friendship than maybe what you're used to seeing. Okay, this is a friendship where you'll die for this person. Like you got this person's back, like no matter what. That's the type of friendship we're talking about. Jonathan encouraged, protected, prayed for David, not out of convenience, but out of that covenant. It was that covenant that joined them and locked them together. But now, we're going to go to chapter 19, and now the story takes a dramatic turn. Saul, Jonathan's father, starts getting jealous and paranoid. The same man who once cheered for David's victory when he defeated Goliath now wants him dead. So verse 19, you'll see some similar things that were starting to happen. Chapter 19, some similar things that were starting to happen in chapter 18. Chapter 19, we're going to read the first 12 verses again. Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David. Okay, it's getting a little intense now. Like he tried to throw a spear at him one day, but now he's telling his own son and the other people that he wants to kill David. But Jonathan had taken a great liking to David. Again, they have this great relationship. And warned him. The king's son goes and warns his new friend that his dad is trying to kill him. That's a friend, right? That's pretty close, like to do that, Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him, my father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on your guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I'll speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out. Not only did he warn David, now he's going to go speak on his behalf and say, hey, Dad, he's a good kid. Like, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to kill him? He's a good friend. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I will speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out. Then he's going to report back to David what his father said. Verse 4, Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul, his father, and said to him, let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you. And what has he done? What has done has benefited you greatly. He's reminding his dad like how great David has been, how helpful, how good of a warrior in the battles, and how he's defeated a lot of enemies for us. Verse 5, he took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistine. The Lord won a great victory for all Israel, and you saw it and were glad. Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason? Verse 6, Saul listened to Jonathan and took this oath. As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death. Well, that doesn't stay very long. Verse 7, so Jonathan called David and told him the whole conversation. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. One more war broke out, and David went out and fought the Philistine. He struck them with such force that they fled before him. But an evil spirit, again, this harmful spirit from the Lord, came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand. Here we go again. While David was playing the same instrument, Saul tried to put him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him as before, as Saul drove that spear into the wall. That night, David made good his escape. Saul sent men to David's house to watch it and to kill him in the morning. But I haven't meant to look up this word. How do you say this word, someone? Michal. It's a girl's name. Would you still pronounce it Michael? You would say Michelle? That's a weird spelling for Michelle with that A. Michelle. Michelle, maybe? Anyway, I just want you to know it's a female, okay? Michal, David's wife, warned him, if you don't run for your life tonight, tomorrow you'll be killed. So Michal let David down through a window, and he fled and escaped. This is an intense story, but I have a point and a reason for reading it to you. Jonathan wasn't the only one God used to protect David. Now Saul's daughter, okay, if you go back, you'll see that Saul gave Michal to David for some ulterior motives, okay? So now not only is his son, but now his daughter also is stepping in to help David, despite their father. Their father is the king, and they're helping David. When God has a call in your life, he'll surround you with the right people at the right time, even when others turn against you. But it's up to you to recognize these people and follow them, because we're all following somebody. We're all. I don't care even if you don't have social media, you're following somebody. Someone has your ear, someone you listen to, someone you look up to. We all follow someone, and we've got to recognize who are the good people, the people that are going to help us in life, people that are going to get us closer to God, the people who are living right, have good values, good morals, good characteristics. Who are those people? And when you see those people, when they're around, those are the people you need to have a good covenant with, not the other people that are leading you away from God. Does this make sense? Very important. I cannot stress enough how important this is. Who you surround yourself with is who you will become. A famous person once said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The average of the 5 people. Think about your 5 people. You are the average of those people. Financially, spiritually, mentally, you are the average. Be careful who you spend time with and who you allow to get close to you in your inner circle. Very important. Who's in your circle? Jonathan warns David and helps him escape. Michal lowers David out a window to save his life. Both Saul's son and daughter helped protect David because they saw God's calling on him, even when their dad couldn't. That's real friendship. People who want to see you win, even if it costs them something. People who show up when things get messy. People who help you follow God's call, not pull you away from it. So the question for us tonight is, who's in your circle? The people closest to you will either help you follow God's plan or pull you from it. Now I'm going to give you 7 points and verses to go with them, and I want you to spend some time this week looking up these verses. I'm going to read them to you tonight, but I want you to write them down on your paper and spend some time this week going through these 7. Number 1, choose carefully. Proverbs 12:26. Write down Proverbs 12:26, which says, the righteous choose their friends carefully. It's a good proverb. 12:26. Keep in mind, not everyone who's nice is a good influence. Choose your friends carefully. Number 2, be wise about who's closest. Proverbs 13:20. Proverbs 13:20, which says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. It seems so practical, but yet it's not that easy, and we all fall into following and having companions that walk with the wise. Proverbs 13:20. Number 3, protect your character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Which says, do not be misled. Bad company, they made a song about that, corrupts good character. Bad company corrupts good character. You could be a good person, have good characteristics, been brought up in a good Christian home, have parents that love you, that treated you good, that taught you right. But if you get involved with the wrong people, the wrong person, this bad company, it can corrupt you and change the way that you originally grew up and the way God made you to be and mess up God's plan for your life. This is so important. Number 4. Don't get unequally pulled. 2 Corinthians 6:14, which says, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Be careful how close you're getting to unbelievers. Doesn't mean be mean to unbelievers. Doesn't mean be hateful. You still love them. Just be careful not to get too close to unbelievers. You need to be equally yoked with like-minded people in your inner circle, in your close circle. Being yoked means being linked or tied together. It's like two animals are connected by the same harness. That's what yoke is. Walking in the same direction. So if one pulls away, it affects the other. That's the problem with being linked with people that are going a different direction than you. It makes it a frustrating, challenging life because you keep getting pulled back and forth and you're not sure where to go and what to do. Whether in friendships or dating, don't link your life to someone going the opposite way spiritually. Spiritually, which is my main assignment here, is to keep you all, is to watch over your soul spiritually speaking. Number 5, build each other up. Proverbs 27:17. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. So really great verse. We sharpen each other. Real friends don't just make you laugh, they make you better. Okay? You need friends that make you better. Number 6, love and honor each other. Romans 12:10. Romans 12:10, which says, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Healthy relationships aren't about competition. They're about lifting each other up. Good friends will lift you up. They're not trying to compete or put you down to make themselves look better. A good friend will lift you up, even if it means putting themselves down a little bit to do that. That's a good friend. Number 7, stay loyal in tough times. This is Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times. True friends don't run when life gets tough. They're going to stick with you through the good times and the bad times. I told the story before. I had a lot of friends when I was doing my thing. I'll just say it, doing my thing. But when I got locked up or got in trouble or my apartment got raided, I didn't have a lot of friends anymore because they weren't true friends. They didn't stick with me through the bad times. They were only there to party, hang out when things were good. When all that was gone, they were gone. True sign of a true friend, do they stay with you, stick with you, even when you're not so cool and popular and fun and everything going well and you're buying them C4s and all the things. Shout out to my guys right here who buy me C4s. Like when people stop, yeah, I know. Oh, you buy them? Okay. Well, shout out to Jaden, who's my true friend who buys me C4s. No, I'm just kidding. They stick with you no matter what. So tonight, we're going to wrap up, and then I'm going to give a little quick real talk before dinner, just to start it off. Where is this going to play? Who knows? Tonight, I want you to think about your circle, the people closest to you. Just think about those people right now. Who's really in your corner? Who's helping you stand strong when life gets tough? Who's helping you stand strong? David had people like Jonathan and Michal who encouraged him, protected him. Nobody should be moving around right now. This is the time where we're still. We're locked in. David had people who encouraged him, protected him, reminded him of who he was when life got heavy. But even the strongest people, even David had moments when he felt like giving up. Next week, we're going to talk about that. We're going to continue on into 1 Samuel, I think it's chapter 30, where David had to encourage himself in the Lord, it says. What do you do when it's just you and God, and when the people you thought would be there aren't, and when your faith feels like it's hanging by a thread? We're going to find out what that really means and talk about that next week. God, thank you for the people that you've placed in our lives, the friends who lift us up and keep us grounded in you. Help us to be those kind of friends to others, and surround us with people who sharpen our faith, not weaken it. We thank you for this time, for this message, and just for you, God, for being who you are. It's in Jesus' name we pray, and we all say, amen.